The corner, the corner, the corner. Hey, welcome. Come on into Cousin Ed's Corner. This podcast is where you'll find real, authentic conversation, organic conversation, unscripted, unfiltered conversation, like you're home with your cousin. It's all about life. It's about finance. It's about spirituality. It's about love and everything in between. I'm your host, Cousin Ed. I'm excited to bring you along on this journey. So sit back and listen in as we dive into a wide range of topics. I have some diverse guests coming on with an array of thoughts and opinions. My goal is to create a space all for us to connect and communicate. It's not really about me. It's about the community as a whole. Let's enjoy it. Let's sit back. Let's think about our past. Let's move into our future. It's about the corner, the corner, the corner. So no matter how you cut it or slice it, we're all here together. I'm just here to give you a piece of my heart, my mind, my soul, and my mentals. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. The corner, the corner, the corner. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. How we all doing? We are back. We are back with another one, Cousin Ed's Corner. And this is when my sister wins, we all win. And once again, we're winning with another queen today. I am honored to have a special one today. I was talking to one of my good friends who's been on the show before. She's a family friend of the show. And she said, you gotta have my friend on. You gotta have my sister on. And she sent me her page. And I went on and I started listening to this queen, her poetry, her music, and just her knowledge. I was like, okay, let me reach out to her. So reached out to her, and we are honored to have Essence on today. But let me get that correct now. Dr. Vanzant. Let me say it right. Vanzant. Doctor. I want to put a doctor on it. Vanzant is on today with Cousin Ed's Corner. How you doing, Doc?
I am well. How are you, cousin?
I'm doing well. Like I said, we had a brief conversation before, but I didn't tell you any of that. And I wanted to tell you that I had a chance to go and visit your page. And not only, you're promoting poetry, but you can sing too.
Yes. Yes, there's a couple of notes back in the back of my throat.
I was
I
very
appreciate
surprised.
that. Yes. Yep. Been singing pretty much my whole entire life. A lot of things. Honor choirs coming up through school. I've done a few concert shows and different things with recording artists, mostly in the gospel realm. I like to fuse my poetry with a little bit of music, a little bit of song. It's just kind of my way of expressing things. And of course, I'm born and bred in the church, so that's where my roots are.
Amen. So you answered my first question. Is to tell us a little about yourself, not the baby
See,
story, but
it's the
you
profit.
already knocked that out. So I like for everyone to learn a little bit about the person who's on the show. So you already answered that. So you've been doing this since you said you grew up in the church. So you've been doing this forever.
Absolutely. I am a PK of all PKs. Definitely grew up in the church. Parents, pastors, grandparents, great-grandparents. It is definitely a mantle in the lineage. So I was always the one to have to get up and sing before the pastor and, do praise and worship. And, we had church at the house. So all my cousins either sing or play or something. Yeah, we had church all the time. Definitely deep roots right there.
So you were there for all the revivals and everything else. You had all the plates and everything, cleaned up the tables and everything else.
Oh, I absolutely did. I was a little bit special though because we got to see that at the preacher's table. So
Yes.
we had a little extra going on at the table that wasn't inside the styrofoam plates. So they rolled out the treatment for us. It was nice.
That's excellent. So I look at your page and essence of poetry, and as you just stated a minute ago, before we got on that that's actually a show you do every year. Can you explain how did that come about?
Yes, so the Essence of Poetry Show is a show that I do annually. I alternate between Macon, Georgia, and the Atlanta metro area. So this year it's going to be back in home, back in Macon. But that show is a different kind of show. It is an elite poetry show, I like to call it. We talk about the sensitive issues. There is an open mic, so I usually give people who haven't had an opportunity to present their poetry before, ever. I give them an opportunity to do that on that stage. I also bring poets from all across the southeastern United States all together in one space. There's a little bit of jazz, neo soul fusion, and this time we will be doing the book signing for my first two books. I wrote them at the same time, published them at the same time this time last year. So I'm doing a
Oh,
book signing at that event as well.
well, you still in my thunder again. I was going to ask you about your books. So I do a little research. Now, everybody who it is organic, but I have to do a little research for especially guests. So I did a little research, and can you tell us about your two books? One is 47 Seconds, and the other is Parenting, Anxiety,
Anxiety and little ones.
Little Ones.
Yes.
Yes, 31 days.
So yes, absolutely. So 47 Seconds is a beautiful love story. It's basically written under the idea that you can fall in love in as little as 47 seconds. Talks about that journey of being with the one that you love, longing for the one that you love, expressing desires and things like that. It's very clean, right? But it is very intimate as well. And then it also talks about the possibility of that not coming to fruition and what happens, mentally, emotionally when you walk through that process. So it's a gamut of about 21 poems that walks through that whole process. I enjoyed writing that. That was a lot of fun. All the feels are in that book.
I'm
Yes.
scared to read it.
It's a lot of fun. My mommy and my daddy both bought the book and they read the book. I try to do everything with excellence that my
No,
mom and
no,
dad
no,
would
no. I
approve
ain't worried about the
of.
excellence. I'm just
So
worried
it's clean.
about. I'm worried about bringing up some emotions that may be
But it's
hidden.
gonna
Yeah.
bring all the feels. Yes, it
Okay.
will.
I try to. What they say, men cry in the dark. I might, might have put this in the
It's all
basement.
good. By the time you get done reading it, you'll probably pick up your own pen and write your own expressions as well. It definitely pulls on your heart that way. Yes.
You just tugged at me.
I can definitely see it happen. You got a lot to say in a
All right.
good way.
Yes. Now
Absolutely.
tell me about your journal.
Yes, the second one. So the parenting anxiety and little ones is the second one I published. I literally published them within a couple of days of each other. This one is a 31-day journal that walks through several scriptures. There's an opportunity to read a little bit that challenges your thinking in a way of how you're approaching parenting. For yourself, as well as how you're approaching parenting for the benefit of your child. There's also a space in there to journal out your thoughts in relation to a couple of each day has thought provoking questions. And that resource I wrote to be a tool to parents who are just kind of going through all the emotional feels that comes along with parenting these days, especially parenting children that have anxiety or their bouts with depression or ADHD or some other challenge or issue that requires us as parents to go do research and study and become better individuals so that we can be better parents. So I wrote that book out of my own quiet time with God about how do I deal with this as a new parent, as a parent going through something that, the generations before me didn't necessarily have resources and tools for. And I definitely went to the scripture on this one to pull out all the great help and support.
You talking about generations before? She talking about the extension cords?
Glory. Oh, glory. Oh, Lord. It was a different day. It was a very, very, very different day. And I think a lot of the things that we deal with as parents now, maybe they're not so different that but they present different. It's a different environment, it's a different day, it's a different time, technology, access, all these types of things. And it's a bit overwhelming, when our kids are exposed to things prior to even our desire for them to be exposed. It's a lot to battle.
I I, I kind of want to stay here, but I want to bring you back for this one, because I think we can have a whole nother conversation about this in parenting. But before I leave the topic, the doctor has some part of that. So I want to go ahead and explore you being a doctor. I know you're in education. So is that playing a role in this book right here, the journal?
I think it does approach the educational aspect of becoming an informed parent. There's several days in there where I talk about accountability and research and utilizing tools and things like that. So my educational background is really on higher education and adult learning, which the acronym is HEAL, right? HEAL. And so my ideas and my philosophy on education is really deeply rooted in, ironically, exactly that acronym or that acrostic, because I feel that a lot of the ways that we can overcome the challenges that we face are connected to our ability to learn, right? Our ability to get knowledge and wisdom, right? Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So if we read, if we study, if we show ourselves approved, and we search for understanding and wisdom, I believe that unlocks the door to access greater things. So yeah, I definitely think this book is connected to that idea.
You just broke it all down. I could see your background. Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely got to have you back just to go in depth with that. Staying right there for a minute. Last month, I saw some things on your post talking about suicide prevention and talking about mental health, and you have a whole series about mental health. Can you speak on that? Your role in last month's suicide prevention. I saw you did like not a retreat, but like an outing and things like that. Can you speak on that?
Oh, yes, that's a lot to speak on. So, September was Suicide Prevention Month. We're gearing up for World Mental Health Awareness Day, which is October 10th. And there's just so much connected to the idea, right? Reducing the stigma, increasing our advocacy, becoming more vocal, becoming more knowledgeable on the topics and ideas of mental health and wellness, changing our vernacular, how we speak about the topic, how we encourage others who are experiencing their own health challenges, being loud about having overcome our own challenges, etc. So there was such a deep rooted connection in my personal life and the lives of those that are close to me regarding reducing the stigma, increasing access, etc. I was actually pursuing a degree in counseling at one point, but I ended up switching and going for the doctorate, and it couldn't have been a better decision for me. I believe that it's important for us to have providers, right, of that service. But if the people are never connected to the providers, then we still never solve the problem. So I decided to place myself in the gap, right, to advocate and create the space for that connection to happen. I also became connected as I was going through the writing experience with an organization called the Galaxy of Poets, and they, I feel, were godsend. It definitely aligns with my purpose. We are mental health advocates, and they saw something in me, decided to vote me into their organization, and deemed me as the director of mental health and wellness for the Galaxy of Poets. So not only do I walk out of my own purpose and calling and ambition, but I'm also connected to a nonprofit organization, and we do this across mostly the Southeast, but we're definitely looking to expand our reach, and we are actually working on expanding our reach across the entire country. So I couldn't be more happy to do that. I've recently kind of found a pocket, and it works. I share on my Instagram stories, my Facebook stories, less than 60 seconds about mental health and wellness and doing all the things. And you'd be surprised. how many people like and comment and literally answer those questions in my DM about how they can reduce stigma and become more active in this space. It's really a blessing.
Well, I want to get into your poetry real quick, but let's stay right here for 1 second. I think it's important to stay here. Um, can you give some avenues or some resources for people who may be going? I mean, you are a resource, and I definitely want you to give your information, but can you give some resources for some people who may be dealing with any kind of challenges, health-wise, mental-wise, emotional challenges? I think it's very important that we do not just shun them or do not shame them, making sure that they feel at home, making sure they feel welcome, making sure they feel that they have a safe place. So definitely, if you can give any resources.
Yeah, absolutely. There's tons of resources, national resources and local resources, depending where our listeners are. The first place I would say is 988, which is the suicide prevention hotline. It's a national number that anyone can call, especially in the moments of crisis. And there's always someone there to answer that call, 988.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, across our states, you can also access the Department of Public Health. They usually have a page for mental health and wellness, as well as other physical wellness ideas and websites, etc. There's also tons of organizations across our state. The Galaxy of Poets is always available. We do our mental health check-ins on our social media pages where our listeners come in and they just share how they're doing that day. If it's great, we celebrate them. If they're not doing so well, we do all the things to talk through it and encourage a place of betterment, right, during that time. The Galaxy of Poets actually has a crisis line as well.
Oh,
When we
excellent.
have our poets in our community who reach out to us and let us know whatever they're experiencing at that time, and sometimes they have been full on crises, and
Mm-hmm.
we have networked and got on the phone and made all the calls, and depending on where they are, especially in the Atlanta metro area, we'll call someone up in that area, send them to the person that's experiencing the challenge, and we'll walk them through it. It's an amazing opportunity. I never thought I would be, handling a crisis line unofficially, officially, but here we are. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. But those are just a few.
Well, excellent. God sends angels, and definitely what you're doing is definitely godly sent. So definitely keep doing what you're doing, because you never know what gap you're stepping in for somebody, and they don't know who else to call. So keep doing
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Nah, welcome. Now let's talk about your poetry. Now, I like I said, I had a chance to visit your page and see some of your poetry. Can you tell me about some of your experiences? You say you've been on certain stages. Can you tell me about some of your experiences and what do you have coming up?
Yeah, sure. So, poetry is a beautiful place for me. I started writing when I was in middle school, high school. I took a hiatus and I just kind of jumped back into both feet
Mm-hmm.
in about 2 years ago. Someone close to me asked me to write a letter, and I tried so hard to write this letter. And the more and more I read what I wrote, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a poem. Literally, I say in that piece, I tried to write this love letter. I'm bound to this love better. It's literally in that piece. And after that, the floodgates were open, and literally, I was pouring out dozens of poems day after day after day. So we're here. I have been told that my poetry is the dichotomy of soft and strong.
Mm.
And that resonated so much with me because I do. I talk about all the soft, gentle things, especially of womanhood and love and, all those things. But I also talk about these hard topics. We get into it from a very intellectual perspective on serious ideas like social justice or social injustice, I should say, mental health and wellness, and all the things. So I feel that personally, my poetry is about having a safe space. It's about verbal expression or creative expression with written expression. I also feel that it's about advocacy. Um, in February, I think it is, Women's Month, we, the Galaxy of Poets, did an expose on all the different women that were role models to us, the
Okay.
Galaxy of Poets. And I went down all of the people that I found, influential in my life. I started doing more research. It wasn't that I knew what they did, I was just drawn to them. And
Hmm.
when I went and explored, I learned so much about the fact that they were not only just in the creative arts or the performing arts, but they were advocating for all these things that are important and right. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is me, and this makes sense now. It was a full circle moment for me. So I would definitely say poetry for me is it's about the expression, but it's definitely about the activism.
It's funny how he will pull you back towards something that he wants you to do. And like you said, 2 years ago, someone asked you to do this, and now look where you are and getting opportunities and opening doors for you. So I testify again. He's so amazing.
Yeah, he definitely is. You asked about opportunities coming up, and I want to share the World Mental Health Day is this event is so amazing. I was in a space. I was offered an opportunity to share some poetry in the Atlanta metro area, the Sweet Arvin Festival, music in the park, all these
Oh,
amazing opportunities, right?
mhm.
And I connected with this beautiful soul, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing all these things with mental health," and she was just trekking it herself. I was like, "No, ma'am, no, ma'am, we do not do these things by ourselves. I am going to partner with you. My organization is going to partner with you. We're going to come alongside and support." So she's curating this amazing event called Mentally Poetic,
Okay.
and we're doing it. Through the Teams app, but we're bringing in panelists, people who are advocating for mental health and wellness, people who are professionals, clinicians in the field, as well as bringing in a lot of poets who have poetry about mental health and wellness. And we're having a full on conversation, presenting resources, and going through the gamut. We're also connecting that singular event with an HBCU Arts of Mental Health tour.
Oh
I'm
man.
so excited about that. I am going to be so tired, but I think it's a worthy cause. Um, our first three tour dates are in April, three separate weekends in April. We'll be in New Orleans, we'll be in Kentucky, we'll be in Ohio. And I'm like, God, you are amazing. Because
Oh
right
man.
after that,
Mhm.
the Galaxy of Poets, in addition to Essence of Poetry, will be hosting a mental health retreat in the mountains next to the waterfalls, doing all the things talking about mental health, wellness, panelists. It's a 3-day retreat with a certification opportunity following on that Memorial Day holiday as well. So we're going to get everyone who signs up for that mental health and first aid trained, which is a 3-year certification.
Oh
And
man.
so I'm just so excited about it. There's tons more, but I think that's all we can fit into today's show.
That's amazing. I mean, offering certification and retreat, but this everything that has aligned and opened up, even going into the new year. I mean, that's amazing. I did see something that's in December. What do you have in December?
Yes, so December is the Essence of Poetry show. That's the annual show. It's
Okay.
always the Friday before Christmas. Yep.
Okay. That's excellent. And that's going to be in Macon this year.
Yes, it's going to be at Macon at the Harriet Tubman Museum. So, yes,
How
it's the advocacy for me.
how can people sign up for that and come and support?
Yes, you can access Essence of Poetry on Eventbrite. It's already listed. The ticket prices are listed there, as well as you can have an opportunity to add on either one or both of the books as well. There is an open mic opportunity as well, and those interested in sharing on the mic on this clean and safe stage can contact me, Essence of Poetry, on Instagram direct.
Now, I do see on your LinkedIn profile, not LinkedIn, excuse me, on your Linktree profile, you do have this Eventbrite on there as
Yes,
well.
absolutely.
So definitely visit her Instagram page. Tell me what your Instagram page is. I know you can look it up by your name, but what is your Instagram handle?
So my Instagram handle is Athea JV, ATHEAJV. But if you search Essence of Poetry, I promise you'll see me.
Yeah. So definitely look for her handle. Definitely go to her page. At the top of her page, you'll see a link tree. Go to Linktree. You'll get the Eventbrite from there. And you can actually find her 2 books there as well. So definitely go out and support her. Queen, I appreciate you coming on. I definitely want to have you back to dissect some more about mental health and learn more about that, and just help some other people in that. And let's learn more about you as well.
Absolutely. I'm happy to come back and share.
Definitely. Go ahead. Look, once again, give them your handle, give them any other contact and any last minute words.
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram under Athea JB. That's ATHEAJB. Or you can search for Essence of Poetry, and I promise you'll see me. You can also follow me on Facebook under my government, Athea Vanzant. That's ATHEA. Last name Van Zant. V as in Victor. ANZ as in zebra. ANT. It has been my honor and my esteemed privilege to share with you all here on Cousin Ed's Corner. And I'm always doing something in the community as it relates to mental health and wellness and spreading awareness about what it means to use our creative expression to create safe spaces for people going through any challenges at all.
Y'all can tell she polished. Y'all can tell, right? That's why she got the doctor in front of her name. This is why I don't do that part. I let them do their own because they're polished. But no, I appreciate you very much. Like I said, I tell most people, you said things clean, so I'm going to say it clean. The brown is above the cabinet. The clear is below. The red cup's on the counter. Welcome to it anytime. Keys under the mat. You can come back to Cousin Ed's Corner anytime you like.
Thank you so much. I'll definitely be back.
All right. Hey, guys, I love each and every one of y'all. Be sure to go out and support this sister. Also, thank you to our sponsor, the Sisters in Business Expo, the Sistah Shop here in Atlanta, and you can find them online. Be sure to support them as well. Love each and every one of y'all. Peace.
This is Dr. Vanzant, otherwise known as Essence, because I am the true essence of poetry. And when I am not out advocating for mental health and wellness and sharing poetry and creative expression, I am listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.
Hey, y'all. Aisha here, founder and CEO of the Sisters in Business Expo, the country's only multi-city small business expo and community created to celebrate and educate entrepreneurial women of color. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. And remember, when my sister wins, we all win.
This episode of Cousin Ed's Corner was brought to you by the Sistah Shop. Please be sure to visit them at thesistahshop.com. That's thesistahshop.com. Thesistahshop.com. Thank you for listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.